Please be seated. Respected guests, invited ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this third all-important graduation ceremony and award of certificate in entrepreneurship education, courtesy of the Directorate for Entrepreneurship and General Studies of the National Open University of Nigeria. Very special day indeed in the annals of the Directorate of Entrepreneurship and General Studies because it is a moment where different folks from different sphere of life have been fit, having gone through the rigor of different entrepreneurship skills and training, and today they will be certified fit to go into the wider business space and make the difference. Distinguished invited guests, as we get set for this all-important ceremony, permit me very expressly to recognize some very important guests as we put everything right for the commencement of business here today. It is my pleasure that I welcome before us the Vice Chancellor of the National Open University of Nigeria, Professor Olufemi Peters, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academic, Professor Chedu Mafiana. Sir, you're most welcome. I'd like to also recognize the registrar, who is Mr. Oladipo Ajayi, today ably represented by a principal assistant registrar in the registry, and Mr. Harrison. I'd like to also recognize the librarian of the university, Professor Angela Opala. Of course, our guest speaker and our graduation lecturer in person of Asa Jokorede Boaz Adotunulua, who is the co-founder and chief visionary officer of the Asa Rocks Limited. Let me also at this moment recognize Dr. Samuel Awolumati, the Director of Directorate of Entrepreneurship and General Studies of the National Open University of Nigeria. Permit me to recognize the Entrepreneurship Education Program Management team who are well seated here, our facilitators cutting across different aspects. The reason we are gathered here, our graduands, respected invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Without any further ado, at this moment, I'd like to invite the registrar of the National Open University of Nigeria to proceed with the graduation rite. Registrar, sir.
The National Open University of Nigeria Act, as amended, empowers the university to grant diplomas and certificates and other distinctions, award medals, prizes, and other titles as the need arises. Article 6(7) of the National Open University Act, as amended, stipulates that subject to Section 4 of the Act, the Chancellor shall be the chairman at all meetings of the convocation when he is present, and in his absence, the Vice Chancellor shall be the chairman at the meeting. I humbly invite the Chancellor to duly constitute this convocation.
I hereby declare that this convocation is duly constituted for the award of certificates.
Sir, I have the privilege to call upon the Vice Chancellor to deliver his opening address. The Vice Chancellor, please.
This is a speech of the Vice Chancellor of the National Open University of Nigeria at this third convocation ceremony, the award of certificates in entrepreneurship. Our principal officers present, the registrar and university librarian, our esteemed director advancement and linkages, our guest lecturer, really welcome. Our distinguished guests, guardians and parents, and our graduating participants. This is the speech of the Vice Chancellor. I am delighted to be with you today on this remarkable occasion, which is the third graduation ceremony of the certificate in Entrepreneurship Education of the National Open University of Nigeria. Today is not only a celebration of academic achievement, but also a testament to resilience, innovation, and the Nigerian spirit of enterprise. You, our graduates, have successfully completed a program that goes beyond the acquisition of a certificate. It is a program that equips you with the tools to think critically, act creatively, and thrive in a world where entrepreneurship is the driving force of economic growth. At a time when our nation faces pressing challenges of unemployment and underemployment, you have chosen to stand out, not as job seekers, but as job creators, innovators, and problem solvers. The training you have received at NOUN has prepared you to identify opportunities, harness resources, and transform ideas into sustainable ventures. Let me remind you, entrepreneurship is not just about starting businesses. It is about mindset. That mindset to create value, to embrace risks with courage, and to turn challenges into opportunities. With the knowledge and skills you have acquired, you now have the responsibility to impact your communities, contribute to our national development, and inspire others to follow the path of innovation. As you step out of the gates of the university today, remember that this is not the end, but a beginning. Let your certificate be more than a document. Let it be a living proof of your commitment to build a better future, both for yourselves and for Nigeria. I encourage you to dream big, start small, and act now. The future belongs to those who dare to create it. On behalf of the National Open University of Nigeria, I congratulate each and every one of you. Your hard work, dedication, and the sacrifice you have brought that has brought you this defining moment. I commend your families, guardians, and your lecturers who have supported you throughout this journey. I am particularly enthused, and I make very special mention of one of us, a grandmother, a professor, and a restless retiree who participated in this program. I'm talking about Professor Helen Kwanashia, and for her very brilliant performance. I wish to congratulate every one of you, as well as your anticipated entrepreneurial journey. It is my pleasure to now declare this ceremony open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir. At this moment, without any further ado, I would like to slip forward by inviting the co-founder and chief visionary officer of Asa Rocks Limited, our graduation lecturer for today, Ashaju Korede Boaz Adiotunde Lua, to commence with the graduation lecture, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before us at this very moment is Ashaju Korede Boaz Adiotunde Lua, who has been the MD and CEO and Chief Visionary Officer to several kids, teens, and youth thoughts, initiative, and action companies. He started his journey connecting directly industry, corporate setups, business models to the four walls of a private think tank hub and practical, reinventive, initiative, thought, and action classroom. This initiative he pioneered by the psychomotor-oriented company named Asa Rocks Limited, an initiative that launched him into the deep as a life leader of innovative social enterprise in Africa and the globe. Ashaju has consulted quite extensively, locally and internationally, creating hybrid corporations with core expertise in enterprise sector potential detection, activation, and creation for Africa, with but not limited to the World Bank, Netherlands government, SOS Nigeria, German government, GIZ, UK government, UKTI, etc. Ashaju believes in Africa's use of RD21, mixed reality, and high-tech immersive education training in expediting the knowledge economy of the black race. His newest Dynamo Discern and Glean Limited researches develops and deploy education models that delivers an expedited, abridged theoretical, extensive practical learning experience directly connecting the four walls of any classroom in any institutions across Africa to the need within economic sectors, industries, commercial nerves, thereby closing the real-time skill gap between the formal providers of labor and the kind of labor needed or expected in the marketplace. This he does to ultimately close the huge quota gap in African human capital resources, contributing to world trade, manufacturing, commerce, and global development. This he also does for kids, teens, and youth. He has been an entrepreneurship, innovation, invention, and enterprise discernment consultant for over a decade and a half with the NUC, NAPTEP, MBTE, and the NYSC, pioneering sector economic-centric curriculum, content solutions, and skilling of the four walls of every tertiary institution classroom to national sectors, industry, and commerce. He had worked closely with several tertiary institutions, locally and internationally, like the National Open University of Nigeria, the University of Jos, Covenant University, Clark Atlanta University, Kennesaw State University, KSU, Joe Coles Business School, etc., etc. Given his deep experience garnered well over a decade at the global marketplace front lines as an entrepreneur, trainer, consultant, life coach, and while serving as co-project initiative implementation partner for several African and global government, private and public institutions, locally and internationally, such as the UN, Martin Luther King Foundation USA, A.D. King Foundation USA, and the USAID. He believes it's time for something he calls the National Human Resource and Capital Blueprint. He opines that black race, as partly encapsulated in Africa, is equally to blame for slave trade, because we could have converted the Western initiative to skill trade, but for non-discerning visionaries, he sternly believes we approach such times again, but now Africa, especially starting from Nigeria, must become a cleaning house for global skills, giving its kids, teens, and youth population demographics advantage. Ashaju is popularly a spirit-led entrepreneur who is currently developing a blueprint and roadmap for the innovation of trade, enterprise, economy, financing, financial models, and its education for kingdom custodians, guard agents, and players. Shaju is married to one virtuous wife, blessing Boaz, with 4 awesome kids, Araulua, Pintolua, Iwalua, and Urogulua, Boaz Adiotulua. Oh my God. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our convocation and graduation lecturer, who is Asa Rock's co-founder and chief visionary officer. Sir, the stage is yours.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's a high privilege to stand before you this morning. I must acknowledge the presence of great luminaries amongst us. The Vice Chancellor, maybe represented by the Vice Chancellor himself, Professor Mapiana. Good morning, sir. And of course, the Registrar, also represented by an able representative, and the librarian. Good morning. Good morning. I want to also extend my respects to every co-lecturer that took on this journey with us at the beginning of this exploit. And I want to thank you for making our time out of your college schedule to pour back into the youth and participants of this great initiative. And it's okay to clap for yourself at this point. All protocols duly observed. I would love to run us through my thought process around entrepreneurship. And you would permit me to please also delve a bit into the place of the university in the area of entrepreneurship or career pathways. As we understand the uniqueness of our opportunity and the advantage we have now that has to be taken in the life of now. I want to take you back by a bit, basically through the history lanes of slave trade. I would like to submit to you that for every battle and for every competition, or for every strategy for winning wars, every opponent or every player within the war is not 100% certain of the victories of war. Everything in the beginning of the foundation of the planning for war is done on something that is called a manifest, something that is called a blueprint, or called a planning board. It means that everyone brings out the best of their knowledge and the best of their understanding in the beginning of strategizing to win a war. The reason why they put all of their prowess into that blueprint is because everything that is imputed into that blueprint affects the outcomes of war. Some of the models and some of the thinking that is put into that blueprint is how to remodel plans, how to shift thoughts, and how to shift realities on ground the playing field or on ground the battlefield. Friends, it's important for me to let you know that that which was called slave trade was planned just as I am explaining. And the plan was basically to take advantage of an opportunity that was studied, and algorithms were put together, stats were put together, and it was noted that it would be good to look for a population that would drive innovation, invention, and a new economy within a global framework. I need to let you know that on the intention to come into Africa, there was no victory in mind. They basically had a plan and had a thought to come into Africa and find what works, right? It was on ground Africa that the thought or the possibility of slavery was birthed. And this was because of weak negotiators that got distracted by mirrors, gunpowders, and whiskey bottles. You need to understand the connectivity between what I am saying and where we are today. Until you understand that the people that were negotiated for, which you now call slave trade, it will be important to note what they were traded for. They were not traded for money, they were traded for projects, global projects. They were traded for plantations, rice farms, coffee farms, railways, bridges. They were used to develop an entire advancement and civilization on the ground of global fronts. You must not leave the rudimentary of what happened in slave trade and forget that which the slaves did in themselves. I'm here to propose to you that the capacity of the human resource of any nation is capable of much. Is capable of building an entirely new civilization from scratch and bring it to the main ball. That which we call first world countries today were built by the same hands which we look down upon within the spheres and within the very locality where they were birthed from. It's important that we note that the human resource blueprint is an important core part of every country's formation in terms of going to war. Friends, human resource has become war. It has become war that is subtle in nature. Passports have been given for free. Immigration laws have been changed. Presidents have spent 25 days, 30 days, midnight watch on deciding what immigration laws should be used to bring men again from African continents to the main ball of their civilization. Men again are thinking, having new thoughts under the confines of the new laws that the UN, the ECOWAS, and the rest of them permit, and are thinking intelligently of how to create a fold that will build the next future. It is important that we learn the lessons of slave trade and start to take advantage of it, because again, we are at war. And it's important that I make this foundation as I go into the rudimentaries of my lecture today, so that upon the foundations that I've laid, you can have the new thinking of the opportunity that is beckoning upon us as Africa, and of course as leaders of Africa in Nigeria, to create a new normal. And so I would go on to the stats, the statistics of the advantage that we have. If you look at the top 10 global economies, they are marred by a lot of frailties. They are marred by the frailties of an aged population. They are marred by the frailties of a youthful generation that has been set to be laid back in their minds because of the successes of their predecessors. They are marred by a thriving, innovative economic shift that has allowed for little thinking, little efforts to make billions of dollars. We as Africans remain the population advantage of the world. If you look at the 10 global economies and you look at their age deficit or their population deficit, and you come back to Africa and you take our population surplus, apart from the lameness of our skillfulness and our reorientation in the place of thinking of what entrepreneurship is, or what intrapreneurship is, or what career path should be, you would realize that we are actually the gold mine of the world. A lot of people have asked questions. Why do people keep coming to Nigeria, even though Nigeria seems, and everybody says Nigeria is falling. It is for this reason, sir. Every world has a project to build, and everyone must look for the labor force to make that project a possibility. Guess what? The main ball of searching for the proper human resource base for that building is in Africa. And until Africa starts to take its human resource blueprint seriously, we would always be raped. We would always be acculturated to thinking that they are doing us a favor when visas are given to us and passports are extended to us and citizenships are extended to us. It is a subtle war strategy. It started from the blueprint. Remember that I told you that we are at war. I'm sorry, my heart aches and I'm burdened. Forgive my tone, but it's important that we understand the foundations of where we stand and the advantage of where we are going. I believe that the National Open University stands at the forefront of this war because of its strategic establishment across the 36 states of this country and the FCT. And it is time that we take entrepreneurship more seriously, that we take the building of the labor force that powers any institution, that powers any sector seriously, because the tertiary institution and the Nigerian university system is actually the main ball for the training, for the orientation, and for the mind engineering of every human resource that would stay or leave the borders of this country. And in that thinking, I would like to jump to my next point. I told you that the negotiators were weak. I told you that the negotiators negotiated for wine, for whiskeys, and for mirrors in exchange for human power. It's funny because today whiskey does have value, but does not really matter in the intrigues of world economics. Gunpowder is important, but does not come to terms in the place of intelligence. And it's important that we note that this war continues and continues in a strategic way. Today, the negotiators for labor and resource is misunderstood for government. We misunderstand the negotiators for labor as government. And it's important that the university system realizes that the real negotiator for labor and for human resource is the university system. The university system is the one in charge of encoding every learned human resource with the foundations, the thought patterns, the orientation, the principles, the understanding of what guides that which is an objective to labor or to skill. It is the university system that allows for a unified workforce or a strategically opined entrepreneurial thinking. It is important that we return to the place of strategic planning and strategic blueprinting for both entrepreneurship and career development within the university system. It's important that we realize that we are the new negotiators. In other words, the quality of men and women that we produce are directly pointing to the prowess and the input of the intelligence that we put in them. The real negotiators are no longer government, because right in the shores of our country, certain doctors, at about 500 of them were taken out of the shores of our country in one flight. And it was not the decision of the government. The government was able to stop that activity, but it was the decisions of the people that had been built. Singular individuals that had been built by a system that they stayed within for 6 years. The quality of their decision was informed by the very orientation that they were given within the 6 years of their existence within the institutions where they were trained. The university has become the new negotiators. And once the university understands this, once the university system understands this, then we would realize that there's a bit of a need of centricity, a need for being centric about the definitions and the thinking around entrepreneurship. I think the National Open University has done so amazingly concerning this. The National Open University has allowed entrepreneurship to cross-pollinate across disciplines. You know, it is because please, you're allowed to clap. And you will not understand the importance of this until I start to explain to you. The importance of the cross-pollination of entrepreneurship across disciplines is informed by our definition of what entrepreneurship is in the first place. Most of the times we have not taken time to really ask what is entrepreneurship within the reality of our own existence. We have taken entrepreneurship from Yale University, from Harvard University. We've taken entrepreneurship from educational concepts that were forged for the reality of the nations from which they came in. One of the things we have refused to do is to take up our right for defining entrepreneurship through the lens of our own reality. Entrepreneurship can be explained as business or profit in other realities because the foundations of what needed to be built had already been done by the same men that were taken years ago. So the definition of entrepreneurship there and the priority of entrepreneurship there does not remain the priority of entrepreneurship here in Africa. It is important that we take the right to define what our own entrepreneurship means. And as we begin to define what our own entrepreneurship is, the thinking, the infusion of knowledge, the infusion of orientation, the infusion of principles will start to change because we have redefined what entrepreneurship is. I want to make an attempt to redefine or to at least participate in the conversations of what entrepreneurship should mean to us. Entrepreneurship in Nigeria needs to change for profit making. Entrepreneurship from Nigeria needs to now come to the place of men rising to become saviors of the very problems that mar our nation. Entrepreneurship needs to change from the thinking of making profit and becoming big to men that are ready to give themselves for the change that Nigeria truly deserves. Entrepreneurship needs to change from the thinking of what can I get for myself and my family to men that rise and see the problems of a nation and cannot sleep. That when this thinking starts to change, then the entrepreneurs that rise within Nigeria will ultimately make profit and ultimately make business, but will establish a great nation while at it. In other words, the determination of a great country, will be in the hearts and will be priority in the hearts of every entrepreneur. And while our entrepreneurs enter into the place of career development and career pathways, they will not think of stealing eggs within a poultry farm. They would not think of using pens to change figures or add onto the amount of products being sold. You know the reason why? Because in the core of their heart, they realize that they will not even go into a system until the system meets the principle of meeting the need of a nation. And if the priority is meeting the need of a nation, then automatically, if I steal from that reality, then I'm doing injustice to the system that is building the nation. There's a need for a new thinking. There's a need for looking at our reality and beginning that conversation that allows us to remodel what entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship really is. And I was hoping that in my conversations today, I would be able to trigger in our hearts the need for these conversations to start at a larger forum. The needs for this conversation to start at a national level. The needs for these conversations to go beyond that innovation and that beauty, that amazing thing that National Open University is doing, for it to become a new reality in every university in Nigeria and in Africa. The university system holds the very key to the future and the unimaginable possibility of the united Africa. The very university system. Because I have noticed that when men come around and make a problem solving their focus, language will not matter. Are you with me? When youths come together for a certain football club to win, have you noticed that language does not matter? It does not matter who is making profit or who is not. The idea is my team must win. We must begin to build teams around the new reality of what entrepreneurship should mean. And it must start with the Nigerian university, that which National Open University has already taken a forefront and a pioneering position to do. Can we please put our hands together? Pioneering a new normal. It will be important that we realize the disadvantage that this new normal or this old reality has cost us. It has cost us so much as a country, and I told you that the opportunity cost is that the most brilliant amongst us will be taken to build another economy. This is happening on a daily basis. Nigerians are leaving the country in their droves. Nigerians are looking for a better place, are seeking for a better purpose. In other words, if the purpose of another country looks far better than the purpose and the vision of Nigeria, Nigerians are willing to build for another nation. It's unfortunate that they do not understand that slavery has changed. It's unfortunate that they do not understand that slavery might now be subtle and might have a desk and have a computer and have a good salary. It's unfortunate that they do not understand that slavery can come with a passport. But there's a deep state in every country. There's the reality of the limits that you might not be able to achieve. There's also that which comes with building your own territory. Because as far as you are built in another country, there is this deep cry in your heart that won't stop about what your own locality looks like. And we must begin to have these conversations amongst ourselves and begin to change the new normal. Every country has gone through what Nigeria is currently going through. Every country. Go look at the history of the US. Go look at the history of Britain. Every country has gone through what Nigeria is currently going through. And I think it is the entrepreneurial thinking and the entrepreneurial foundation that has powered Nigeria as of today. It's the entrepreneurial thinking of profit and business that has powered the civil service for some of the abnormalities that we are seeing today. It is the centricity of profit and business that has powered some of the abnormalities that our youths are pushing today, of wanting to get rich quick schemes. It is this same entrepreneurial thinking, and it's the job of the most erudite amongst us. It is the job of the most learned amongst us. It is the job of the most lit amongst us. Those that are bearers of light and bearers of a new civilization in their hearts and in their brains, to pass it across to the very layers that form the potentials of our wanting to do in the first place. There's a to-do in the heart of every Nigerian. Unfortunately, the informal and the formal educational system is not taking advantage of that inclination in the hearts of every Nigerian. And there's a way to go about it. Do you remember? Can I sing a song? Mary had a little lamb. If you don't know it, raise your hands. Little lamb, Mary had a little lamb. Do you remember that song? Why do you remember it? Is it useful? Is it useful? Do you notice it brings joy to you when you sing it? Did you see the smile on your faces? Do you remember that song? Black sheep. And it's important that you understand that education can linger. Education is enduring. Some of you are 52, some of you are 62, some of you are 70, and you remember the very words of that song. There are poems that you will never forget, and it was education that built that foundation. Education is enduring. Education can last through the traumas of life. Some of you have gone through the most devastating times in your life, but you still remember the song. Some of you have gone through the worst conditions that economy can place you, but you still remember the poem. It's the same way if we had put the thinking and the orientation of building a nation through entrepreneurial prowess. It's the same way we would remember and not forget. Do you understand me? The fact that your credit alert is on 0 will not change that song in your mouth. The fact that your wife divorced you or your husband is dating 7 other girls, it will not change that normal. Because any day I sing this song, you would what? You would remember. We must turn entrepreneurship to a collective responsibility that calls for obeying, that calls for patriotism, that calls for a change, that calls for a new day to be birthed in our country. I came to tell you about the likes of Carnegie, the likes of Henry Ford. These were men that were stated to build America. They were men that decided on their own and changed the norms of their country forever. It was on the intentional in-building of an orientation that men could come and save the earth. There is a need to impute a messianic nature in our entrepreneurial teaching. There's a need to impute one that is a savior in our entrepreneurial teaching. And there's a need to celebrate every savior that arises. There's a need to celebrate every Messiah that decides that against all odds and against all stories that have happened within this country, I will rise and I will change things. I came to trouble your waters a bit this morning. I came to disturb your heart rate and your sugar level. I came to encourage us to start the conversation of entrepreneurship being a transport and a vehicle to developing a nation. I came to touch on the hearts of academia to please begin the conversations around changing the rudimentaries of what entrepreneurship should be defined as for the reality of our nation. If we start now, we will build before years to come. The best way to start to plant a tree is when? It's yesterday, actually. It's yesterday. So I want to thank you for giving me time. I want to thank you for allowing for me to interact with your heart and your thinking and your resolve. I am hoping that as I conclude, your resolve would be to push for those conversations to start, for National Open University, I want to say a big thank you. I have followed the National Open University for over a decade, and I've been amazed by the swift change in policies, in the drive for entrepreneurship, in allowing for partnerships, in allowing for interactivity, in allowing for strategic synergies that would allow for a quality entrepreneurial individual to rise in the country. And I want the National Open University to also build a front that takes this into other institutions, that hosts conversations around this kind of conversations, that submits reports to the federal government, submits reports to several institutions as per this new normal. I want us to interact with industry. I want us to interact with government, interact with community through the lens of the quadruple and the triple helix model. Allow for things to take a new phase. It is a call for private sector to start to participate in institutional development. It's also a call for the universities to start to participate in industry-centric research and industry-centric entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. Providing the right quality of people because of information gathered from private sector. When this starts to happen in our nation will take a new stride. Our nation will start to jump. It is not government that really builds a nation. A responsible government is important. But you see, entrepreneurs that are serious about changing a nation can actually get a government to repent. It is time for people to rise in our midst and turn this boat around. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think he deserves more than that. Asha Jokurode Boas Adiotunoloa, the co-founder and chief visionary officer of Us Rocks Limited. I want to thank you for sharing your thought with us this morning. And of course, we want to thank you. Please sit down, sir. We want to thank you for steering the hunger in our young graduates today. Their hunger in entrepreneurial education to step into the world, the wider world, and make the desired difference. In line with our program this morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to call on a few people for a goodwill message, commencing with Dr. Favor Edin Nse, who is the Director of Department of Mass Education in the FCT. Can we have a place for a goodwill message? Okay. It's somewhere close. Okay. While we await the coming of Dr. Favor, I'd like to also invite Dr. Rotimi Matthew, who is the Director General, Chartered Institute for Mentoring and Coaching. Can we have that? Okay, please, for a goodwill message.
The Vice Chancellor, the DVCs, the Registrar, the Bossa, the Librarian, and the Director, thank you for this opportunity. First, I must commend our lecturer. Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here and to listen to you. I look forward to a synergy with you, because actually you've spoken my mind. I remember in a meeting like this, I told them that those guys are good negotiators. They came and picked the strongest from among us. The smartest one ran away. You're unable to tackle them. Those are our parents that are still here. The stronger ones are there with them. So since we are the smartest one, we're going to go for a war and negotiate better now. Because we need entrepreneurs that understand the stories of Africa and that can connect to the souls of Africa on African soil. It is with a profound honor and joy that I present this goodwill message to the graduating students of entrepreneurship at this prestigious National Open University of Nigeria. First, let me acknowledge once again and commend the visionary leadership of the Vice Chancellor, the Senate, the Director of Entrepreneurship, faculty members, and the entire management team of this great university. Your unwavering commitment to academic excellence and capacity building has made it possible for those graduating students stand tall today, ready to contribute to the future of our nation and the globe. Dear graduates, today is more than a ceremony. It is a launchpad into purpose, innovation, and relevance. You have been equipped with knowledge, skills, and exposure that position you as builders of industries, creator of opportunities, and problem solvers for our society. Entrepreneurship thrives not on chance, but on strategic planning, innovation, and continuous professional development. As you step into the real world, be ready to fight and win. Today you are like seed. My father told me that you can count the number of seed in an orange, but you can't count the number of oranges in a seed. As you go out there, nurture yourself and become great. Be bigger than Dangote. Be bigger than Bill Gates. That is our expectation. And I also want to acknowledge the university for the good work you have been doing. I think the entrepreneurship education is a conduit or a drive or a transport or a car or a vehicle that has taken the gown to the town. We can feel the pulse with what you are doing at the Open University. He has mentioned that the synergy and your collaboration is massive. Thank you very much for that. So as you step into the real world, remember that the sustainability of any enterprise rests on clarity of vision. Remember, vision is a living thing. So you must nurture your vision so that this vision will not die. Sound strategy and that the discipline to follow through. You must cultivate the mindset of a lifelong learner, staying updated with global trends, the use of technology and AI. AI is our friend, and shaping your capacity to complete in a rapidly changing environment. Allow me to share a few thoughts with you quickly. The best way to predict the future is to create one. Peter Drucker. Do not wait for extraordinary opportunity. Seize common occasion and make them great. Rotimi Matthew. That is me. Opportunity don't happen. You create them. Because I mentioned Peter Drucker, you clap. Dr. Rotimi Matthew. Do not wait for extraordinary opportunities. Seize common occasion and make them great. If there is no way, make a way. Yes. This quote remind me, or remind all of us that entrepreneurship is not about waiting, but about acting with courage, vision, and resilience. As graduates of entrepreneurship, you are Nigerian hope for innovation, job creation, and sustainable development. Be intentional, be deliberate about building networks and seeking mentors around, and embracing ethical practices. Thank you, our guest lecturer. You talk about being ethical in what we do and being a professional. It is profound. Let your businesses and initiatives not only bring you profit, but also create value and impact for your communities and for the nation at large. It is about goal. It is about growth. It is about God. Do not allow any casual individual or companies make you compromise your vision. I congratulate you all in this remarkable milestone. May your journey ahead be filled with bold ideas, strategy, win, and enduring success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rotimi Matthew. You actually took 6 instead of 3 minutes, but we're not complaining. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you for seeing the National Open University of Nigeria positively through your mentoring and coaching lenses. We appreciate it. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite again Dr. Flavor Edin Nse, who is the Director, Department of Mass Education in the FCT, for a vote of thanks.
Distinguished Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Nigeria, Professor Olufemi Peters, esteemed Director of the Directorate of Entrepreneurship and General Studies, Dr. Samuel Awolumati, respected faculty members, proud graduates of the 2025 Certificate in Entrepreneurship Education, our honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It's a privilege to stand before you today on this momentous occasion on behalf of the Department of Mass Education, Federal Capital Territory Administration. Indeed, as a passionate advocate of transformative education, I extend my warmest congratulations to the graduates of the 2025 Certificate in Entrepreneurship Education student graduates. Today we celebrate not just your academic achievements, but the bold, innovative spirit you've nurtured through this remarkable program. It is no small feat to complete a course designed to equip you with the tools to shape your own destinies and contribute meaningfully to Nigeria's vibrant economy. The National Open University of Nigeria, through its visionary Directorate of Entrepreneurship and General Studies, has provided you with more than just a certificate. It has ignited in you the spark of creativity, resilience, and leadership. These are the qualities that will define your journey as entrepreneurs, change makers, and nation builders. As someone deeply immersed in the world of education, I know firsthand the power of knowledge, not just to transform our lives, but entrepreneurship education, as championed by NOUN, is a beacon of hope in a world that demands innovation and adaptability, as we have found in Nigeria of today. You, the graduates, are now torchbearers of this vision. Whether you launch a startup, start a small business, or inspire others in your communities, you carry with you the skills to turn dreams into reality and challenges into opportunities. To the faculty, staff, and leadership of NOUN, I commend your unwavering commitment to accessible quality education by fostering programs like this. You are not just shaping individuals, but also building a stronger, more self-reliant Nigeria. The Department of Mass Education is proud to be a partner in this journey as we share a common goal of empowering every Nigerian to reach their fullest potential. To the graduates, let me leave you with a thought. Entrepreneurship is not just about starting a business, it's about starting a movement. It's about seeing possibilities where others see obstacles, creating value where there's need, and leaving a legacy of impact. As you step out from this ceremony, know that you are not just alone. Your ideas, your passion, and your courage will inspire countless others. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2025. May your entrepreneurial journey be filled with bold steps, meaningful successes, and a joy of making a difference. Thank you, National Open University of Nigeria, for this honor, and thank you all for being part of this inspiring moment. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Ma. There is no better way to disrupt your thinking than listening to Dr. Favor Ndense speaking to you this morning in that brief vote of thanks. She's all the way from the Department of Mass Education, and we are from the mass producing institution, the National Open University of Nigeria. In the light of goodwill messages, I'd like to call on a former dean of the social sciences of this university, and of course a director at the moment in the Department of Linkages, putting us together, Professor Ganiat Adeshina.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the DPC Academics, Professor Chiedu Mafiana, the Registrar of the University, the Librarian, and other management staff in absentia. I greet my DAP, Professor Kagbare, the Dean, Faculty of Education, all directors seated in the hall, all other colleagues in the hall, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press. Warmest congratulations to our dear graduate of the Entrepreneurship Certificate Program of the National Open University of Nigeria, Center for Entrepreneurship. I extend my sincere appreciation to our esteemed Vice Chancellor for fostering an ecosystem that promotes innovation and entrepreneurship. Your leadership has been instrumental in shaping the future of our graduates. To the team at the Entrepreneurship Center, your tireless efforts in designing and delivering this program have not gone unnoticed. I salute the director of the center for his commitment to taking this through to the third graduation ceremony. Please, he deserves a round of applause. Your dedication to nurturing entrepreneurship talent is truly commendable. To the facilitators of this course, I'm one of them anyway, please clap for them. They did excellently well. Your expertise and passion for entrepreneurship have undoubtedly inspired and equipped our graduates with skills needed to succeed. I want to give special recognition to our graduates themselves, particularly those who persevere through challenges and remain committed to complete this program, because some people actually dropped out. Your dedication is a testament to your determination and entrepreneurial spirit. They deserve a round of applause, please. May the knowledge, skills, and entrepreneurship mindset you have acquired empower you to create innovative solutions, drive economic growth, and achieve success in your endeavors. As you embark on this entrepreneurship journey, remember the words of Jim Rohn, who said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." May you continue to be intentional in educating yourselves, in creating wealth, in being innovative, and imparting life by being job providers and not job seekers. Wishing you all the very best, the class of 2025. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Professor Ganiat Hoffman, for those kind words of yours, as we invite the librarian of the National Open University of Nigeria, who will just close this session of goodwill messages. Please help me to welcome with a round of applause, Professor Angela Okpala.
The Vice Chancellor of National Open University of Nigeria, Professor Olufemi Peters, the management team, the principal officers. I want to appreciate Professor Chiedu Mafiana, the representative of the registrar, the director, DE and GS, our facilitators, and of course, let me not forget our guest speaker. I welcome you all. I want to first of all start by appreciating our Vice Chancellor for this initiative and the facilitators for helping to drive this initiative. And to you, our graduates, I want to congratulate you, particularly because you have been endowed with skills, competencies that will help to eradicate unemployment in our nation. At least start by solving it. As you have been endowed, gradually you will turn Nigeria to China. My advice to you, our dear graduates, is to be resilient and plan strategically. Because if you fail to plan, it means you have planned to fail. Plan on short-term basis. Plan on long-term basis. Plan daily. Plan weekly. Plan monthly. You plan to maximize your resources. You plan to maximize your time. You plan to maximize your efforts. Please remember that you do not count your chicken before they are hatched. As you plan and walk through and navigate through the landscape of our national development, I seize this opportunity to employ our government, our leaders, to solve the problem of power in our nation, Nigeria. Wherever this message will get to, it is my prayer that the federal government will not relent concerning the issue of power. And finally, when a burden is shared, it becomes lighter. When the risk is shared, it becomes lighter and emboldens you to plunge into greater risk that will yield results. So I call on the federal government also concerning the insurance system in Nigeria. Because even these little businesses, you are starting little, but you are going to be great and transform Nigeria to becoming China. We need you to share, to be able to share your risk with the insurance companies. And I pray that this will come to fruition. Once again, I want to say a big congratulations to the graduands. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liberian National Open University of Nigeria, Professor Angela Okpala. Whatever you think of today, whatever that was said here is rooted directly or indirectly to that bedrock plan. You can either plan at macro or micro level. You can also plan both as a quantitative or qualitative plan. All right? And so I want to add that while you're planning, remember, no risk, no reward. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are now at our place where this third graduation ceremony would want to recognize for an award some distinguished and accomplished individuals in the annals of the Directorate of Entrepreneurship and General Studies of the National Open University of Nigeria. So this award is in three categories. Category A, we'll be looking at the Vice Chancellor, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, and the Pioneer Director of the Directorate of Entrepreneurship and General Studies of the National Open University of Nigeria. The category B will focus on the overall best graduating participant and the most engaged participant, while the category C will be directed to the facilitators who, in their way, made it possible for us to gather this morning. And so, to commence with this level of engagement, I would like to invite the Vice Chancellor of the National Open University of Nigeria, Professor Olufemi Peters, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academics, Professor Chiedu Mafiana, to receive this award on behalf of the Vice Chancellor. All right. right, standing before us, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is the representative of Professor Olufemi Peters, the Vice Chancellor of the National Open University of Nigeria. Reflecting on visionary leadership and entrepreneurial innovation, we honor Professor Olufemi Peters for his transformational impact at the National Open University of Nigeria through initiatives such as the virtual entrepreneurship exhibition, the commissioning of student enterprises like Mariella Fashion Home, and the institutionalization of the certificate in entrepreneurship education. He has empowered students, staff, and communities to embrace creativity, resilience, and innovation. I'd like to invite Professor Okabare, who will be presenting this award to the Vice Chancellor.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, it is with deep appreciation that the Directorate of Entrepreneurship confer on you this award for empowering the future entrepreneurs and advancing entrepreneurship in education in Nigeria. Congratulations.
May I, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, heartily appreciate the Directorate for this honor and further charge you to do all in your power to ensure that this program does not go under. The lectures we received this morning were asked to remain ethical in all that we do. And we hope that this Directorate will live to its obligations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
May I please invite Professor Amin Umar to kindly come forward to receive this award on behalf of the DVC administration. Professor Amin Umar, please. Now, Professor Aminu Umar is standing in for Professor Isaac Bosworth, who is the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration in NOUN. We honor Professor Isaac Bosworth for his outstanding contribution to entrepreneurship education and youth empowerment at NOUN. Entrusted by the Vice Chancellor, he has diligently followed up and commissioned student-led enterprises such as Mariella Stitches, a fashion home, while also facilitating vital public-private partnership on behalf of the university. His leadership embodies service, responsibility, and commitment to advancing entrepreneurship as a driver of national development. Today, we present this special award and a token, as our token in recognition to a tireless contribution. May I invite we invite the Director of Mass Education in the FCT, Dr. Favon Say, to please help us present this award.
With deep appreciation, this award is presented to Professor Isaac Samani Bosworth, Deputy Vice Chancellor, National Open University of Nigeria, for your outstanding contribution to developing entrepreneurs and advancing entrepreneurship education. Congratulations, sir.
The Vice Chancellor of a great university, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Chiedu Mafiana, the librarian of the university, the registrar, other management staff in absentia, members of the Senate here present, deans and directors, graduating students, our invited guests, a very good morning to you all. Permit me to say a word or two before handing over this prestigious award to our boss, Professor Isaac Samani Rabo Buswat, the outgoing Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration of our great university, the National Open University of Nigeria. Myself and Sam Awolumate are mentees of Professor Isaac Samani Rabo Buswat. The reality of the matter is that while he championed the cause of entrepreneurship at the headquarters here, I championed the cause of certificate programs of the university at the Center for Human Resource Development located in faraway Kaduna. That is the CHRD. We have learned quite a lot from these two great people, the Vice Chancellor and also Professor Isaac Samani Rabo Buswat. And if I should give testimony, especially drawing from the lessons of Professor Helen Kwanashi yesterday, of strategic vision, the Vice Chancellor is a strategic thinker. He's a man of wisdom. And he championed the cause of certificate programs, which I manage for the university in Kaduna. You may not know what have been happening. We have introduced certificate programs that have become household names in Nigeria. Certificate in child care is now a popular program and is also in cohort 3, just like this program. Certificate in electric vehicles and auto diagnostics is in cohort 2 and is championed by the CHRD in Kaduna. There are numerous other certificate programs alongside memorandum of understanding that are at the moment undergoing processes of ensuring there is quality before we bring them to the open. But me and my big brother have learned very good lesson from the tactical commander of the certificate programs. That is Professor Isaac Buswat. He is responsible for the implementation of the certificate programs. We have learned humility. We have learned dedication or service beyond the call to duty. We have learned commitment to work. We have learned patience. And we have learned upholding the values and missions of the NOUN. In Kaduna, where I run my program, you don't need to possess 3 credit level, no. All we need from you to enroll into our program is school living certificate. And we have people who are also almost the rank of professors that are running programs with us. So we want to thank Professor Buswat for the leadership. We want to thank the Vice Chancellor for the support. And on behalf of our boss, Professor Isaac Samani Rabo Buswat, I receive this award and I will take him to him with all sense of joy and happiness. Thank you once more.
I will have been asking the bursary staff now to cut you a receipt for some form of advertisement if you are not from the National Open University of Nigeria. Thank you very much, Professor Amini. Next, I want to invite Professor Juliet Inigbidion to kindly please come forward. Professor Juliet is being recognized today as a pioneering director and one who has actually set the center on a very solid pedestal. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, standing before us here is Professor Juliet Obajaji Inigbidion, the pioneering force behind entrepreneurship education at NOUN, and through her visionary leadership, she established the foundation for the certificate in entrepreneurship education, inspiring generations of entrepreneurial leaders. Her distinguished service represents a legacy of courage, innovation, and enduring commitment to building an academic culture where students are not only learners, but also creators of enterprises and solutions. I present before you distinguished Professor Juliet Obajaji Inigbidion, the pioneering director of entrepreneurship education at NOUN. And to make the presentation, I'd like to invite Professor Funke Olaruwaju Rashida to kindly help us present this flag of honor to Professor Enigbedion.
With a deep appreciation to Professor Juliet Obajaji, sorry if I can pronounce well, okay, Pioneering Director of Entrepreneurship Education, National Open University of Nigeria, for your distinguished service in funding entrepreneurship education at NOUN and inspiring generations of entrepreneurial leaders. Thank you. I present this to you.
Thank you. Today, I would say I am very, very happy. The joy of an entrepreneur is not the day you start. It's the day you see your fruit flourishing. And we cannot talk about entrepreneurship in NOUN without mentioning one person. My VC, sir, it'll be represented by the DVC academics, the registrar, and the librarian. I remember years back when we started this journey, I was given an open hand to operate by the immediate past Vice Chancellor, Professor Uba Adamu. He gave open hand, and I came up with ideas that look so crazy. And in establishing that directorate, the pioneer staff that started with me is Dr. Awolumate, the current director. And that is what it takes, again, if you do not run away from assignments, from mentorship, you will be able to do better than your mentor. At the time I was creating the curriculum, it came around when we started facilitating for NISA. We trained a lot of staff for NISA. I won't let him rest. I said, I can use any person's idea. You can be a cleaner, you can be anyone, you have an idea in you. The difference between you and I is what God has given to us an opportunity at a particular time. And I tell you, at the time I created that curriculum, I flagged it out. They said, oh, no. This one, it cannot go now. This has to be in Kaduna. We just move on. But let me tell you, at the time this was to start, see, when you are handing over a baton and you have labored, pray you have a good successor. This wouldn't have been here today if I didn't have a good successor. Where I could not get to, he's able to get there. And beyond me, Professor Abdallah Uba Adamu left. Then another vice chancellor came in. I heard this, when this vice chancellor will leave, when Juliet will go, this thing that will just crash. But the new vice chancellor came. Where Professor Abdallah stopped, he picked it up from there. And with a visionary successor, we are able to get to where we are today. And where I had limitations, the current vice chancellor came and broke the limitations. So I just want to appreciate you, Dr. Awolumate, for your humility, for your availability, and for your continuous learning. And I want to say I am dedicating this to all now present and future innovators and creators that will take now to a higher height. And to the graduates, I want to let you know, don't let anybody kill your idea. You own your idea. I will tell you, nourish your idea with whatever thing it will take you. Let it get there. To somebody else, it might be stupid, it might be useless. But to you, you know what you are saying. And starting with this again, when I came up with my crazy idea that entrepreneurship, you can do it virtually. If not for Professor Abdallah Adamu, that would have been killed, even from the Senate. But he said, Juliet, carry on. Let's see what will come out of it. So give free hand to everyone. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Professor Juliet Inigbidian, for reinforcing that part that the National Open University of Nigeria is actually blessed with not just administrators, but good leaders. Imagine a very good relay team from the beginning to the end, a very good relay team. That is how here at NOUN we enjoy our relay team, if you catch my meaning. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite this person for the next award, and that will be received by Professor Helen Uchuku Kwanashi. Incidentally, our best graduating participant. Prof, good morning, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before us this morning we recognize Professor Helen Uchuku Kwanashi as the best graduating participant of the Certificate in Entrepreneurship Education. Her exceptional academic excellence coupled with entrepreneurial creativity and innovation stands as an inspiration to our peers and to future cohorts. Her achievement demonstrates the spirit of resilience and distinction that defines the very heart of entrepreneurship education at NOUN. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite our graduation lecturer to please help us in passing forward this token for a special recognition to our best graduating student.
In recognition of outstanding achievements to Professor Helen Uchuku Kwanashi. Congratulations, madam. And we do not just hope that you receive this award, but we hope that you take it to the main ball of Nigeria. We hope to hear from you. Take this mountain. Thank you.
The Vice Chancellor and ably represented and other principal officers of the university, the Directorate for Entrepreneurship and General Studies, our pro bono lecturers, and all my colleagues, my graduates, co-graduates, I should say, ladies and gentlemen who are here present. I'm very happy to receive this award, and I thank God for it. I hope it will spur me on my entrepreneurial journey. I would like, in particular, to thank the director of the center, who has always been a source of encouragement. I appreciate all the lectures that I received from all the facilitators, and particularly from Mr. Boaz, our guest lecturer. I remember it was the second lecture in the series on creativity and innovation. And I said to myself, when I grow up, I want to be like you. Thank you very much. Thank you. never finish in one go. I'm 70 years, I'm probably the oldest person in the class. And some people who knew I was taking the class, they say, what are you doing at 70 years? Going to do a course that will make you do a startup. I want to encourage everybody is here, whether you are 70 or 20, so long as you are alive and well, you need to make your contribution to your community and your society. It's a debt that you owe. And by the grace of God, you will even live longer than if you are just sitting down and say you are tired. Yes, so I want to thank you for, I'm really charged, and I will let you know how I proceed. Thank you.
Prof, I recall one musician years back, memory lane, Aliyah, who sang a song saying, age ain't nothing but a number. I didn't see that 70 hanging on your shoulder, but what I see in you is with a good jeans and a t-shirt, you will rock my world. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Lamina Rafiu Olufemi. This award to him is for exemplary participation. For exemplary participation. All right, before us, we honor Mr. Lamina Rafiu Olufemi for his exemplary participation in the program. With consistent commitment, enthusiasm, and impactful involvement, he enriched the learning experience for his peers and embodied the collaborative spirit that strengthened entrepreneurial ecosystems. His journey reflects how dedication and passion can transform learning into impact. Wow. In presenting this award, I'd like to invite Dr. Rotimi Matthew, a Director General, Chartered Institute of Mentoring and Coaching, for this presentation.
In honor of your consistency, commitment, enthusiasm, and impactful involvement, which enrich the learning experience of all in the certificates in entrepreneurship education at NOUN, I have the privilege of presenting the award to you. Congratulations.
I greet the Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the VC, the academics. I greet the registrar, ably represented, or if they are present. Then I greet all the principal officers. I greet our director, Dr. Awolumate. He's a good father, because during the program it was not easy. Then I greet all our management, entrepreneurship management team, entrepreneurship education management team. I greet you all. I greet our facilitators, especially Otumba Adeotun Oluwa Ashaju. Thank you very much, sir. So for your word of encouragement, it was exactly, you are as how you are. During the lecture, you vibrate, and we are feeling your vibration. And during your presentation today, you are also vibrating, and we are feeling it. So I'm happy you tagged us, entrepreneurial savior of our dear country from the manipulations of the foreign exploits. Thank you very much, sir. We will take the banner to greater heights. I greet my co-participants, my co-graduands. Thank you very much. It is only God. If not for God, a lot happened during that program, but my strong determination not to quit the program sustained me. As a matter of honesty, I target the best graduating students. I target it, yes. That is my wish. But during the challenges, I couldn't meet up. But the challenges doesn't stop me from participating. I carry everybody along. I ask questions. If it comes to query, I query. We need materials. We need this. We need that. And Dr. Woluma Tena said, this kind of student is a necessary one. Okay, we are learning. And they are up to their task. They are up to their task. They give us everything. I will collect the data that we have not received NEO 5 course material. Please give us. Okay, don't worry. We'll settle you. Okay, this. We thank you very much. In fact, it was a very enlightening engagement throughout the program. My professor, our Director of Advancement and Linkages, thank you. Because I finished my undergraduate here and postgrad and masters. Thank you very much. So I am dedicating this award to my set 2025_1 cohort. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The testimony you just heard underscores they said the taste of the pudding is in the eating, right? And it is a clear indication that academic experience at the National Open University of Nigeria is nowhere close to a low-hanging fruit. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we move close to the end of proceedings, this is to let you know that certificates, soft copies, have already been sent to our graduates in their mailbox. Those of you who are here present who may want to receive your certificate, I know you would want to. You can, after this ceremony, meet us at the department for a hard copy of your certificate. But in the meantime, I would like to invite the Registrar of the National Open University of Nigeria to please step forward for the concluding rites.
The Chancellor, sir, may I invite you to declare the convocation ceremony closed?
I have the pleasure to declare this convocation ceremony closed. I don't close. Okay, there has been a slip. I have decided to reopen the ceremony. All right. So invite them.
May I invite all graduates for the award of certificate in entrepreneurship and general study to please stand and remain standing. Who are not here because of one thing or the other. There are about 100 and many of them are virtual. 101 graduated from this batch. Thank you.
For those of you who are present and others for whom the director stands proxy, I hereby award you the certificate of completion for the Entrepreneurship Education program. Congratulations. And then subsequently, you may sit, please. I have the pleasure to declare this ceremony closed. Thank you.
You see, you may not have noticed what just happened. That is one of the beauty of open and distance learning. You know, the Vice Chancellor had closed the session, then within the twinkle of an eye, he opened it. So it is open to close, and it is closed to open. So whichever you want, at any time, we deliver to you. May we please rise for the closing anthem, please.